All right, Hiker Jay here. Pretty excited to finally unveil our off-grid living system. Here we've got Riley, who's been our guinea pig for this whole thing. But many of you may know we've been building out this RV for off-grid. So now I'm gonna turn it over to Riley and we're gonna go inside first because I know that's what everybody wants to see. But we're also gonna talk about all this stuff outside and especially the power system over there and water and fuel and all that type of stuff. But let's head on inside, Riley, and I'll turn it over to you. All right, now I'm gonna actually make a list of all the stuff that Riley talked about here, and I'll put an Amazon link down below so you can check it out there. All right, so this is your first look at Bob. Riley, tell us what Bob is.
So Bob is a 1983 Chevy Country Squire RV motorhome. So about 20 feet long.
Okay, and we gutted it.
Yeah.
Right, this is all...
There's some cabinetry that's the same, but doubled the floor, doubled some of the walls, had to redo the majority of the bunk area that you're sitting underneath right now. And yeah, we gutted it pretty much and replaced a lot.
And let's go with reality on this one.
Yeah.
Like, we thought, how long and how long did it take?
We thought maybe half a year, 6 months. It took about 2 almost. I mean, there's some break periods in there for winter, but
2 years.
It was about 2.
This was kind of fun because the partnership was, I had a little like parking spot next to my garage and a shop in my garage. So Riley, you know, did pretty much all the work, but I was able to see the process. And we've got a lot of videos on that, which will show out the build out. But this is really just an introduction to how it all turned out. All right, where do you want to start?
Let's start in the kitchen here. So it's right in front of you. So the cabinet top here, this is new. We took a just edge glued pine board and resurfaced it and stained it. So that's your countertop that you see there. I mean, it was like a $40 board. It went for this much, and then cut out the holes for the various things. It was a double sink in here. We replaced that with just this little one from Home Depot. Let me turn the water pump on. You can see pretty good water pressure coming through there. And then everything else up here. This is the original stove that was in here. So it's a Wedgwood brand. It can fit a tiny little pizza in there, probably, you know, a small pizza, or you could bake chicken, do things like that. Other than that, put 2 new lights up here. Still have some holes for wiring that I have to fix, and then put this new backsplash in, and that came off of Amazon just to stick on. I mean, it comes in sheets and tiles, and so you just stick that to the wall. Replace the old one that was kind of a little bit junky, had been on there for a couple years. But that's the majority of what's in the kitchen here. So up top, where I keep dishes mostly and glasses, you can see always a construction site, and I haven't quite figured out where I want to keep recycling yet. So that's something, because I don't have a ton of space underneath that I've just been piling here. So down here, just 3 drawers that are the main ones, silverware in that one. Just your cups, tongs, different things like that. And then I keep my koozie for beer, of course, magic eraser, chip clips, oven mitts, just the random stuff down here, garbage bags.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, like, this was the original cabinetry, right?
It was.
But you painted it.
Painted it, yep, just touched that up. What I love that they had originally is they notched it.
Yeah.
So you can see right here, when you're moving and driving the RV, that's a huge thing if you're redoing your cabinets. You don't want these to be sliding out. So they just did a simple notch, and it sets down on the inside.
It's perfect, yeah.
This one's fun because it just pops out, and that's just your like junk drawer pens, tape, stuff like that.
One thing I wanted to say with painting everything, because no matter what, you get an old RV like this, it has a smell. Like, that's just a reality. Yeah. So you seal it with Kills, something that'll, like a stain odor, you know. Now we come in here and it smells really good.
It was crazy.
It's totally fine, but it doesn't have any of that like weird damp smell to it.
Everything changed when we painted it and put in the floor in terms of the old smell.
Yeah.
Old carpet, stuff like that. But I want to talk about water heater next. So that's my controller right here. This is for a Girard tankless water heater. If I pop it on, you'll see set temperature. So if I open this up here, let me move some of my cleaning supplies out of the way. There's the water heater right there. So popped into the old hole that I had for what was there before, which was perfect, and I just resealed that. And then all new water lines going in. Right,
so, and it's all, you spent a little extra on that, right? With pipe PEX.
Half-inch PEX, and what cost the most was the Shark Bite fittings. A lot of push-to-connect stuff. You see a lot of the clamp. We just went with these plastic fittings for your T's and your elbows. I love that. I'm happy I did that versus like a brass style because it was cheaper. And these clamps are pretty simple. You just get the guy that hooks on, clamps down till you see the light.
Crimps it.
Nothing, yeah, crimps it, and nothing leaks. And I had some early issues with this water heater. I had actually used the thread-on push to connect fittings, and they just weren't threading perfectly. So I switched these ones on here, no leaks, and then we put in this bypass valve for when you blow in the antifreeze, so that we don't go into here with that. But
right, close it off.
How this works is water goes in, and it heats on demand. So we're heating to that set temperature right there. And I can adjust that. So what they say to do is pick a temperature you're comfortable with, and then heat to that, because you're only going to be on hot water. You're not mixing the two. And so it's about 2 cups before
that run through it. Yeah, that's one thing to know. Like, it's somewhat water wasteful, but you're saving propane by not heating it all the time.
Yeah, that's the big thing that you want to be mindful of, is that you have to be running this constant. You can't turn it off, turn it on. So. Yeah. Whereas a traditional water heater, where it's a heated tank, you have a little bit of flexibility to use some hot water, turn it off. This is, you're going to be constant running to get to what you want to get to. And that's all new PEX lines, as you mentioned, Jason, throughout, and then all new ductwork to the different heating elements. And this is my one favorite little feature, is this trash that we hooked on the back of the door.
And it shuts in perfect, like uses that space.
Shuts in perfect. All right, moving on. So, fridge right now is on AC power. That is one error that I made, because running the Blue Eddy on AC and DC.
Real bad idea.
Real bad in the cold weather with not a lot of sun in Michigan. So, this is just more so a storage unit right now. Going to figure out another option there.
Like a 12 volt.
Yep, like a 12 volt. Microwave, I just turn the AC port on over here when I want to use it. Works great off of the Blue Eddy, so that's a good option. And then down here, just a couple more pots and pans. So extra kitchen storage. This is just open for piping and access. So nothing big down there. So bunk area is fun. It's kind of a cool place to sit, hang out, read a book, play guitar. But it's also a spare bedroom, technically. Spare bedroom, a lot smaller. But
yeah, and it was a double bunk, right? You cut it off,
so you
made
see
a shelf.
This trim piece. This was cut here. It did come all the way to here, but it was out. It was kind of just cut off the space, and so we wanted to open that up.
It's awesome. Like, this is such a cool nook to hang out now, having that cut out from the top.
Yeah, it's really comfortable. And then I keep my laundry. Have another basket that goes in the back where I put dirty laundry, and then these are some extra clean clothes storage here. But underneath is where the heater is at. So,
and your controller.
And the
start there.
Controller's right here. This is just Chinese diesel heater. Something I've seen online quite a bit, and it heats this place pretty well. And the cool thing is that I can bump it down at night, so it's using a lot less fuel consumption, pushing out a little less heat. But overnight, I'm controlling what I'm using, and then in the morning, crank it up when I want to hop in the shower and get ready for work. I'll pop this open, and we'll take a look at the heater here. So there's the heater right there. It vents out through the floor where it pulls in clean air and exhaust. And we'll have a separate video on this, because we kind of did a DIY install and put new ductwork to it. But control wiring goes underneath to Blue Eddy, and then other than that, down here it's just extra storage.
And you got the one that has 4 lines going out. Be able to have venting in here, one to the bathroom, another one down here, and then really importantly, one down here by the door,
which we added
because so much heat gets lost there, and it just kind of is like a barrier.
Yep, from the bunk right into the bathroom, and actually a little less space in here. So I'll step up into our shower and talk about the left side here first. So, Nature's Head composting toilet. I have used this for about a month normally, and I haven't filled up what we'll call the number 2 side of it, which is underneath. Here's the spindle to mix it, and then on the back end. So I have not filled that up in a month. Still have room to go, but that's something where if you're putting toilet paper in there, you can throw it away. If you're not putting toilet paper in there, you can use it as compost. So I have some composting bricks we'll show you once we get up front that I use, but we'll probably do a separate video on this as well to walk through the use of it.
It had to be vented. There's a lot to it.
Yep, but in a month, I have had to empty this once.
The urine area.
Yep, the number 1, the urine area. So other than that, just toilet cleaning supplies to keep everything in good shape. My toiletry stuff, everything else is stored up here for my different bathroom things. and medicine, stuff like that. But then we'll move to the shower. So
this, I gotta say, this is one of Riley's like things he was like, everybody always says they have a luxury item, right?
Yeah.
But shower was your luxury item because you just went all in for it.
Yeah, and it was a bathtub before that was up to here, and that thing was not properly installed. It was just against like Luan wall, like this wood here. So what we did, and Jay's brother Greg worked with us to put in FRP, and so built out the walls and built this whole shower shell custom. So I'm pretty proud of this one. This is it turned out really well, and if you can see, I mean, I have a ton of space in here, and so this is removable. And I mean, it's really easy to use. And then
it is a big shower for an RV.
It is, and I can make it pretty quick to where I'm not using up a ton of water. So we'll show you water pressure too, just to give you a good idea. But that's not bad. Yeah. That's not bad at all. And so it gets pretty warm with the water heater. I haven't had any issues with that.
What do you think for gallon wise you go through for a shower?
It's really hard to say. I haven't estimated. I have a 20-gallon tank, so I probably, if I'm comfortable but going quick, I use at least a quarter of that tank. Okay. So 5 maybe. Okay. But it depends on how fast I want to be.
Right, you know? Right, exactly.
And what I'm showering for. If I'm just showering to sit down in here and you know, on a weekend kind of thing, it might be a bit quicker. But this is a cheap little 12-volt fan. I do want to replace this and put maybe a Dometic in, something else, because in the summertime this isn't going to be quite enough. So but these really help with controlling the heat, keeping it in. And and I was worried when we first got into this, knowing that this was going to be my closet space. I was a little nervous, but I think it figured it out. So all my hanging items just on a rack that they had in here originally that I repainted. This one's pretty fun. It's kind of a shoe type thing that we hung up here. It was longer. I cut it to only be 3, but I just put underwear, socks, and extra little towels in there, so that all hangs on the right side. And then put in a one of those wire shelving units, just so that we could have airflow to the Blue Eddy for the fan, and then we could put on some you know, shorts and t-shirts and various things. But other than that, up top it's all my shirts and pants. So this is an AC200 that runs my whole system, and the DC board is going in right here to their 25 amp output, and we wired this ourselves, and we'll walk through some of that video at some point. But that powers the full DC side, and that's DC on right there, so that runs all the time because I'm running my, you know, toilet fan and various things that are constantly on. Right now where we're drawing is all the lights on in the system, so you see about 36 watts pulling, and we have about 85 watts coming in from the solar. 85 right now. Input. That's later in the afternoon. Yep, later in the afternoon, and obviously we don't have our solar system exactly where we want it. But if you pull out a little bit, you'll see I have 2 of these that run to a board with breakers, and that's what powers the full AC side of the system when I turn it on. So, but we'll do a whole video on that power system. You can see that back there, and then separate the AC unit up top is run on a cord that can go out. So kind of unfinished down here in terms of the look, but it's really efficient for what it does in terms of powering the system. This area, which is the last, what I would call major unfinished portion of the bus, this will be the wood stove. So guitar sits here right now, and that's it. Shameless plug. This guy's part of Last Night Saved My Life. I'll put a link down below. I'm in a band. Sweet little band. Thanks. Check them out on Spotify. I appreciate it. But the wood stove will sit here in the middle, and then we'll vent it straight up through the ceiling. This is old pool tin, which I think is really cool. Has a good look to it, but I will put a heat shield on the inside of here with spacers to make sure that this is done properly. And then down here is really cool. So that's a door back there. That's a door. It's extra storage right now, but wood will sit in here so that it's easy to load in from the outside and use right into the wood stove. And then we'll put another cabinet door on the bottom here, just extra storage in the These are real quick, your shades are pretty sweet. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So this is probably the most is the most expensive shade in the bus. Pretty nice pull down one. It only goes to here because of the backing that we put in, but that allows me to open the window and pull it this way, so that this side is open. But long term, I think cold weather, want to get some Reflectix actual window inserts to be able to control some of the heat. But for right now, this one's.
But that really blacks things out.
It does, yeah. That one works super well. These were the old cushions that were in here in the original benches that we kind of designed the couch to fit. Just some pillows, blankets type stuff, but I do want to pull these off real quick and show you the water system. One of the things that we did is we put 2 vents in here to allow heat to come through, because in the winter time, you know, again, I'll insulate this better, but I do want to get to a point where there's a little bit more heat going in here. Because so this is one of the areas that leaked quite a bit actually when we first put in the water system. So what we did, water was coming in this fill line, hitting the tank and pushing back out, because the fill line sits on top of a little plastic piece. But put a fern coat and you can see a lot of silicone on there, and cinched it down and squeezed all that silicone to the outside edge. So that runs really well. But I want to push or move this way. You see the water comes out of the tank here and then goes into our system. So we'll do more in depth, but runs through the pump, accumulator tank, filter, and then into the bus from there. But I do have a city water line coming in as well.
Yeah, we'll do a whole video on this, but this was a lot of brain power.
A lot of brain power. Had to figure out how to custom build this system, and it didn't leak other than that area, which we fixed early on. So pretty proud of that one. Have some extra storage down there if I need it. This is just a foldable mattress. It comes in 3 sections. So here are the folds in it, and it's not quite a queen. It's, I think, a twin XL or whatever's between a twin and a queen. These are just little Amazon guides that I found that have a little protective coating on what is an insulated pillow, essentially. But that helps to control airflow coming through here. And this is my nice fan. I really like this one. It's a Dometic fan, and I do want to put the same one in the back. Currently, I have a cheaper one back there right now. This one was about $200, $300, right in between, but it can control, adjust based on temperature, force air in or out.
Yeah.
And so this one will be really nice in the summertime, and especially if I get 2 where I'm cycling air through the system. But for right now, we cover it up so that we don't let any cold air draft come through.
Okay, so for a reality moment here,
Yeah.
I have to share. Riley got all this stuff done, that we talked about behind us, and then worked on the bed. And what did you run into?
Mold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After all that work, I mean, just think of finishing all this and then running into there and tearing it back and finding mold.
Yep. Everything else was done, and then I went to start setting up what would be the area where I was going to sleep, and then found mold all underneath. So this whole board, which this one slides actually, it can't right now because of the mattress, all the way to the front, water had leaked from points along the curve down, seeped into the bottom and permeated this way. So completely gutted it, gutted up into here, gutted these side walls.
Yep, all new insulation, new wood,
new Luan insulation wood.
Reset the windows.
Yep, and did a lot of mold treatments.
Right.
But
so I do have to stop here a minute and say that Riley wasn't full-on carpenter or no plumbing and all this stuff when you started 2 years ago. And it was amazing because when that happened, it was sort of devastating, right? That's like a start from scratch on that area. He just went at it. And I think you were like in 2 weeks yourself, like gutted it, knew everything to do because he'd been doing everything on all the other parts. So that's one of the coolest things is what you learn through the process. And you have to think of it as a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's not just, hey, I'm going to get it done right away and then start the living.
No, because there will always be something else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm living in it now, and I'm thinking of all the things we need to do. But that one was, that was kind of a gut punch, but a gut check too. Because everything else was done or close to done. And then I just had to get the area where I was going to spend, at least 6 to 7 hours a night. So
healthy
that
area.
was important. And then, of course, equally as important that I can't miss is the TV in here. So this guy I actually run off of Hiker J's Blue Eddy, a little smaller one, the EB55. So that plugs in. I kick that on, and then I'm able to run the TV and then charge my phone off of this too. So that controls my house power. So I'm saving some at night. And then what I do, some people have other ways of using Wi-Fi hotspots and things. I'm not there yet. So what I do is I use my phone. I run this HDMI converter right into my phone, and I just run Netflix.
So that's the inside. Now, for all this to work and to be off grid, you need to have like a power system, power plant.
heat, and
Let's
just
go outside
feel it
and
here
check that out.
feels it. Yep.